Hey there, YouTube. Um, First off, good morning. And I wanted to come to you today, one, because I promised that I would make sure to do videos every week, at least once a week. And I believe my first video was on Monday, October 12th. And I did not do one Monday. I did not do one Tuesday. So here we are, Wednesday, October 21st. And I would like to keep to my word. So with that said, I've actually been grappling on what to talk about in my first official video, my first topic video. And what's funny is that for about the last year, maybe two, I thought in my mind I knew exactly what I would talk about or different things that I would discuss, and it would just come to me easily. But ironically enough, once I actually put one foot in front of the other and made my first introductory video last week, I was like, okay, I made my first video. Now what in the world am I going to talk about? And since then I've had a blank. So again, I ask you to be patient with me. I'm going to probably be random until I find my flow. I've come to realize that, you can have an idea in your mind, but that doesn't mean it will always, once you throw it out there, it's going to look exactly the way you want it to. You may have an idea in your mind. Doesn't mean that that's not what's going to come, but, you have to put it out there and then start fixing it as you go. So, that's a word of encouragement for anybody who's wanting to do any type of endeavor in their life that they may find a challenge, whether that's YouTubing, writing, whatever goals you have, whatever positive goals you have that you want to achieve. May that be a word of encouragement. Just put it out there. It may initially at first not look like what you have in your head, but as you keep going, it'll make sense. It's like a puzzle. You have this image in your mind, the puzzle on what you want to do. Then once you put the pieces out there, you're like, okay, this is going to be a little harder than I thought. And, the pieces are all over the place, but they're there. You just have to put it in order. Okay. So with that said, what I wanted to discuss today, or at least on this particular video, was about being nice. The reason that I wanted to discuss this was because if you look behind me, you see that I drive school buses for Dallas. And oftentimes, even though I work usually independently by myself, there are times when I have to work with other people. With me being a special needs driver, sometimes I have a monitor that comes on the bus with me to monitor the children. Or if I'm doing a field trip, field trip, taking kids, from their schools to wherever, extracurricular activities, I may have to drive. There may be another driver loading this, a group of kids from the same original location. So, there may be 80 kids, 40 get on my bus, 40 get on the other bus. So today, what happened was, in a nutshell, the other driver that I'm partnering up with to get these children to their destination is not a very friendly woman. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I've lived long enough to know that everybody's just not going to be nice to you. Even if you haven't done anything to them, or even if you are kind to them, they're just not, for whatever reason. And it could be, they look at you and go, I don't want to be nice to that person. Or it could be they're just not nice to anybody. I don't really know. I don't really care too much about that. But what I do care about is the fact that I wonder if people like this lady do not realize the impact of their attitude. So that's the tag for the day, is impact of your attitude. I like that. None of us are perfect, obviously, and we're all humans and we're all emotional, and we're going to go through changes, day to day, sometimes, minute to minute, where our focus and our attitudes will change, whether for the positive or the negative. And that's all well and good until you run into somebody, whether that be someone within your household, spouse, children, you know, parents, whoever, or if you run into a coworker, or if you run into a complete stranger. I'm not saying it's okay to be upset or it's okay to have a bad day, but in a way, it happens, you know. You can't help if you get upset about something. You can't help if your day goes bad. But what you can help is how you choose to react to it and how you choose to convey your attitude to other people. I hope I'm using the right word when I say convey. How you present your attitude to other people. For example, I'm having a rough day. And my son comes in from school and goes, "Hey, Mom, how you doing?" And I go, "Son, I'm not doing too good. It's been a bad day." That's not being mean to him. That's just telling him what's the truth. I'm having a good day. And then he says, "Okay, well, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, Mom. Can I talk with you about some homework?" Didn't I just tell you I'm having a bad day? Why you gonna come to me with that mess? Strike one. That's not how you present yourself. I don't care if you're having a bad day or if things aren't going well. The impact of your attitude towards somebody else can make or break them, even if just for a moment. So what if I went to what if I reacted to my son that way? That could do a lot of things to him. That could, you know, make him obviously sad. It could make him scared to want to talk to me in the future. It can make him scared to want to approach other people. It could do, you know, damage. Or it can make him angry and lash back out at me when there was no need for that. A better way to respond would be, "Son, I'm having a bad day. You know, the day didn't go too well." "Okay, Mom. I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I need some help with my homework." "Okay, sure. If you just give me about 10 minutes and let me just kind of breathe a bit, you know, because it has been a rough day, I'll get with you." That's setting boundaries. That's letting the other person know that you're not in a good mood, but that you're still willing to help. And you come at them very kindly. So, going back to really quickly, because the video is getting a little longer than I want it to be. Going back to the actual situation and what inspired me to do this video is the other driver that I'm working with today to transport the children over to this field trip. She got to the children before I did. You know, maybe I don't know how. She just got there before I did. So I pulled up. Everything was fine. And I like to find out who I'm working with on a field trip. You know, it's just good to know, you know, who else you're driving with. Makes sense, you know. So I got out and I went to her bus. She was in front of me. So usually, as I've learned, I haven't been driving long, but I've learned usually the driver who's in front is usually the driver who's going to lead the other bus or buses on a field trip, whatever that may be. So anyway, I went up to the lady and she just kind of gave me this look. And she quietly said good morning, but she had this look on her face. And I've seen this woman before, and her attitude's never been the most pleasant, but, you know, I digress. So I went up to her, and I asked her, I said, "Well, are you going to be leading this morning?" She said, "Where are you going?" And I told her. She said, "Okay, you know, yeah." Doesn't sound bad, but it was the way she presented, as if, you know, don't bother me too much. So as we're driving, you know, she's, you know, trying to get me to get in front of her, even though she told me she's going to lead. And, you know, then when we get to our destination, now, mind you, she's put me in the front. But it's fine. I knew where I needed to go. So I go one way, and she just darts the other way, you know, kind of in her bus, kind of roughly, as if, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, hey, I've never been to this place before. So needless to say, I park, you know, do what I need to do. We get the children off the buses, and we park our buses in the bus parking section. And, you know, I walked towards her bus, and she purposely made sure to not give me eye contact. And that is what inspired me to do this video. I don't need to be friends with my coworkers. I don't need to ask them personal questions. Sometimes I do, because I just like to get to know where people are coming from, who they are. But I don't have to indulge in personal conversations. But the fact of simply being nice, what if I was having a bad day? Or what if I was a person who was so insecure or sensitive to the degree that that attitude made me stay sad? You know, I've been there. I've been the overly, I ain't gonna say overly sensitive, but I've been a very, you know, sensitive person to where a bad attitude would just ruin my whole day. You know, I've been in the, you know, anxiety, worrying about what people think, which cause depression because I'm sad about being around people with bad attitudes and all of this. So again, I don't know this lady personally at all. Didn't even know her name until today. I just look at the way she presents herself at work and this mean look she has on her face. But you know what though? What if people have done her wrong? And what if she's been wrong and it's caused her to be hard? They often say hurt people, right? That's a saying. Hurt people, hurt people. So what if she's been hurt and she's become hard? And so now that hardness is passed on. And then when you come out trying to be nice and kind, you know, and cordial, they can't receive it because of their own hardness. So for me, I am sensitive, and that negative energy tried to enter me, which is why I did a video, because I realized I need that energy to go back out and to get away from me. And I had to say to myself, I rebuke that negative energy, because if I don't rebuke that negative energy every time it comes my way, it will enter me. It just does. So I say to you, if there's a message in this, number one, watch your attitude. You know, you can't help, again, if you have a bad day or something bad just happened, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. Sometimes you are going to, you know, snap at somebody, go off on the deep end, and the only thing you can say is, I'm sorry. And that is a powerful thing as well, because, again, we're not going to do everything right. We're going to say things we shouldn't say. We're going to respond in ways that we shouldn't. But if you realize that you have responded inappropriately to someone, or if you have come off with a bad attitude, simply say, hey, you know what? I realized I was short with you. I was, you know, kind of short rude with you. I do apologize. Or, hey, I'm sorry for, you know, raising my voice at you. You know, that shouldn't have happened. And so that way you can right that wrong, if you will. You know, you can't go back and correct it, but you can at least fix it. At least fix it. But if you know that you can't control that emotion, or the emotion can be controlled, that you can be kind to somebody at that moment, be kind. Because you don't know that your kindness can actually uplift that person. And it can uplift yourself. You know, when you're kind, your soul is happy, you know, and I'm not saying that just for me to say to you. I think if you look at yourself, when you're kind, it feels good. Now, when people are unkind back, it can mess with you. But if you know you've done everything that you can in your own power to be kind to somebody else, then that's all you've got to stand on. So I just wanted to, you know, talk about being kind, checking your attitude. You know, like I say, if you do find you've kind of went out of character, come back. Just apologize, or at least acknowledge, hey, my bad, I did wrong, or whatever, you know, didn't mean to go off on you like that. Hope you can understand. At least it lets the other person know, hey, they're not just not caring. They're just not, you know, being, you know, they actually care about my feelings, even though they, you know, they messed up, they care. And that too can go a long way. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to my video. I think it's Stephanie Pointer. I should know, right? But I've let this video go on a little long. Real quick, my goal is to always try to keep my videos around 7 minutes, because I don't want to ramble too much to where I lose you. But there are going to be times, obviously, this is a 14-minute video where it will go longer. But I hope that, again, every video that I bring has some sort of substance and some sort of message for you. I am going to do another video later today, probably in regards to exercise. And I'm not going to talk so much about weight, because that's something that we always hear in society, most of us, especially if, you know, you're not the ideal body weight or body type. You always hear losing weight, this and that. Well, I'm going to talk about exercise for a totally different reason, and the importance of it and what it can do for you beyond losing those 5 or 10 pounds. So I'll be back later. Until then, have a good day.